You know what it is. Let's go. Geeks chat. We're in the pod. It's me, Goosey, and the prospect at welterweight, Billy Goff. What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. It's late night, going to bed soon. Just got out of practice. Feeling good.
Hell
How
yeah.
you
We
guys
Oh
doing?
yeah.
we appreciate it, bro. We're doing good. We were waiting for you, bro. You know we weren't gonna pass out early. Uh dude, let's get it. Let's get right into it, bro. You're coming off a huge debut win. I mean, that was freaking epic, bro. You went all the way across the world and you got the job done. How did it feel to get in there, make that debut, and have that finish in front of all those people, dude?
I mean, it couldn't have gone any better. I could have looked a little slicker. I know they said that like they said I ate a lot of shots, which I don't. I blocked a lot of them, in my opinion. Uh, so I mean, that could have been different, but outside of that, it couldn't be any better. And it was
Yeah.
so great because there's so much preparation work in going into it, physically, mentally, and it just felt like such a great camp that it all paid off.
That's awesome. You were on one of my favorite cards last year. I loved that UFC Singapore card. It was a little bit different vibe. We were waking up like I was up probably 5 a.m. getting ready to watch that, but could still feel the energy in that arena. How crazy was it obviously being there and doing what you did?
It didn't really hit me um until I got to the cut man and he was greasing me and stuff because there's that banner that goes along the arena and it's huge and it just had my name on it and I was like, all right, that's pretty fucking cool. uh no, it didn't really hit me because for me it's just this is a fight. I'm dealing with it. All the emotions, all the nerves, it's all the same. It's all in one big bubble, and you just got to deal with it the way that you do.
Isn't the crowd over there like, super unique in the way that they're like quiet during fights and they're like so much more respectful? Like, did you feel any difference like
Um,
over there?
no, not really. Though I would say I think it was a little quieter than normal, just because. But I was on the prelims, and not as many people. Like the arena wasn't filled
Right.
when I was fighting,
Yeah.
so it could have been louder. Because when Zombie was fighting, it was very loud. Um, I don't think there's too many, even in Japan. Like in one, I don't think their crowds are like they used to be back in Pride days, which would be amazing. It'd be really cool. Personally, I love fighting. I fought during COVID when there was no crowd, and I loved it because I could hear my corner super easily. It was great, and yeah, I don't need a crowd.
Did you do any touristy stuff in Singapore, or was it strictly a business trip for you?
Oh, it was tons of tourists. I tried to get a tattoo out there, but they were trying to rip me off because I was a foreigner. But I we went to a bunch of different like we just walked around the Santoja Resort. We went over to um there's a little island like another park connected to it that you cross over. And I went swimming, we went ate a bunch. We walked around the mall a lot because the mall was huge and there was just a lot of stuff to do there and eating a bunch of different foods. I couldn't eat as much different food because I was cutting weight, but I got to watch my teammates eat a bunch. Yeah, we went to the aquarium. We went to one of the zoos there. They have like three of them or something. We went to a bunch of different temples. There's like religious temples all over the place. It's a huge city with a bunch of tourist attractions, but it's all extremely clean and like well kept, and there's barely any traffic, and there's no like I didn't see any accidents. There's no crime. I didn't see any cops. Like it's a very great city.
Nice.
Damn,
Get why people move there.
that's crazy. So, dude, I wanted to touch on something because, like, you were talking about a little bit in your post-fight interview. You were saying, like, obviously you got to figure out how to come into the cage at 100%, and that you're working on your mental. So, like, what kind of things are you doing to work on your mental? Is that kind of just like you have to train yourself to kind of talk to yourself a certain way?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a part of that where there's certain things because you certain ways that you talk to yourself to where you're too much of a critic and you're too hard on yourself. You got to cut those things away, and you got to talk to yourself in a way that is effective for the goal that you have. So like the biggest thing for that camp and still now, is what I call it, and now I use it for the wrestlers that on our team. We use it for our teammates in our on our fight team. Like it can be used anywhere. People who don't even train can use it. And it's anchor. And what it is so every time you get anxious, you get nervous. You have self-doubt. You're worried about all the things that could go wrong, or you're just thinking too much. You're staying up late thinking about all the things that can happen in a fight, even if it's not like nervous, but it's just you're up and you're ramped up. That's you're not being present. You're not here in the moment. You're worried about things. You're worried about stuff that you failed. You're comparing yourself to other fighters. You're comparing yourself to other people. Comparing yourself to something that you want to be. And you're always worried about these standards and these thoughts that aren't helpful. So that anchor is like, all right, come back to this moment. What are you doing? So like when we're doing cardio, if you're tired and now you're thinking about how tired you are and how much this sucks, anchor, pull yourself back. All that matters right now is working hard. And it's not so hard to understand that and to do it. The hard part comes is like, okay, it's going to happen 20, 30 times in a row while you're doing cardio to where your mind just starts going other places. And you just got to keep pulling yourself back. You got to keep getting reps of pulling yourself and making yourself present. And I was doing that before. As I was pacing in the cage, I remember, and what I do is feel my hands, feel my feet. What can I see? What can I hear? And then however I'm starting this fight. So I'm going to keep my hands up. I'm going to pump my jab and I'm going to circle outside that lead foot. And that's what I was talking to myself as I was pacing back and forth. And that just keeps me focused on what I got to do and not worried about all the bad things that could happen.
That's very like insightful, especially for a 25-year-old. You know, you making your UFC debut. I'm sure a lot of people view you as a younger guy, but looking at your resume, you fought in Bellator, you fought in all these solid promotions on the way up since 2019. That would put you right around 20 years old. Do you think that Bellator and that previous experience really put you in a position to succeed in the UFC?
Absolutely. When I fought for my second fight as a pro, I fought in a 10,000 person seating arena.
Wow.
So which most people don't. It was Bellator at Mohegan, and it was packed in there, and so that was a big step up, and I was fine. The crowd never really bothers me, and so I was able to handle that. But honestly, some of the biggest lessons were from my losses, which that sounds pretty cliche, but it's just the truth. That is just like your mindset, and that's where like the mental side of things started taking more of effect, because where I was mentally at the time was having a hindrance on my training and whatnot. Still, I lost those fights, but I could have been in a better place. And going 25 minutes was huge. I have gone 25 minutes, so I know what it feels like, and I know how bad it can get, and I can still keep going.
Yeah.
That's sick. That's sick. And that experience definitely is gonna give you that advantage going forward for sure. But another thing I want to talk about, bro, is I don't know anything about this gym that you're at, dude. The Roughhouse? Was this the Dexter Valetudo team? Can you give me a little
Yeah,
bit
so
of insight here?
the fight team is Team Dexter Valley Tudo. The gym is the Roughhouse.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it's just sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. So it's a little gym. It's not it's less space than a full size wrestling mat.
Wow.
Holy
Like
crap.
it's tiny, but it's one of the best gyms around. Like I'd be willing to put our coaches and our fighters up against anybody. Um, it's because I think that we have such a small gym and it's not as well known yet. It's getting definitely more well known, and it's been well known. My coach has been very well known throughout New England for a while because he used to fight. He had belts. But now it's starting to get even more. Eventually, we would like to get a bigger gym and a new gym, but that takes time and money. But
Definitely.
to have that such a small gym and there was times like when I first started, it was just me and one other guy a lot of nights. Just because it's my coach has never run it for money. He doesn't run the gym to make money. He runs the gym to make fighters. So at a detriment to himself and to his financials, he he's doing something that's completely different than what a lot of people do. But it produces tough fighters.
Nice. Nice. Do you find at your gym, like, you have the adequate sparring partners to get you ready to fight these UFC guys at the highest level, or are you kind of going out and doing, I guess they call them smokers, with sparring other gyms and stuff?
No, I don't really. I sometimes I'll go around and I'll work. Like I'll find a guy who's like some of my old opponents. Like I've trained with Gary Boletto a few times, and he's got really good boxing. Which we aren't boxers at my gym. We can box, but we're more like everything's for MMA. So we want to be able to check leg kicks. We want to be able to hit takedowns. It's all very much geared towards MMA. But like I don't need to do any of that. I've got plenty of because I've got Austin's one of the best strikers I've ever come across. He's making his pro debut soon too, actually. Yeah, but he pieces me up. Um, Jake, Eric, they're great wrestlers. My coach Kirkor, Randy, they're great jiu-jitsu from like they're great grapplers from the jiu-jitsu world. Got great grapplers from the wrestling world. Um, so we've got all the experience and talent we need to get ready for fights. The only thing it's just small. So like sometimes we don't have as many bodies as we would like, but we've got plenty of them to get ready. It's just now we're all gonna have to be doing a lot more work with each other because there's not a ton of us.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I get it. Yeah, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, man. So everybody's got to pitch in a little harder, huh?
Uh,
So, dude, yeah, I was looking through like a couple of your coaches' names and stuff. Just the funny, like you guys, I don't know if these are nicknames, but like CIA Eddie, the Dexter, you got Ninja Rich. You actually call these guys by these nicknames?
CIA Eddie, actually, yeah. Well, so Dexter is Dexter's name. That's his name's Michael Dexter. So everybody just calls him Dexter. Some
Okay.
people call him Dexter. Rich is a ninja. I don't call him Ninja Rich. He's rich, but he is a ninja. You'd be surprised. He could fuck some dudes up. And Eddie's the type of guy where like he's got a I don't know where he's from, but he's from some Russian country, and you've killed a guy. You've killed one or two dudes. I can see it in your face. uh, and Dexter's just Dexter. You can tell like he has a presence when you're around him, and yeah, they're
Just
all great dudes. And they Eddie's not a coach. Rich and Dexter are coaches. We also have our jiu-jitsu coach Kirkor, who's also a character. He's fucking crazy. Uh, and it's everybody's so unique and so authentic that it creates such a tight knit, like comfortable feeling in the gym, and it just breeds success.
So,
Yeah.
Bob, you mentioned you were coaching wrestling at Montville High School. What are some
Mhm.
things? Obviously, it's good to give back, but do you think that wrestling's helping you grow as a fighter, or is it more just passing knowledge back to the kids?
Well, so that passing that knowledge helps me be a better wrestler and helps me be a better fighter because whenever you coach, it makes you I have to stop and think about all the little details so that I can accurately teach you this and so that when you ask me a question, I'm ready for it. I can answer your questions. So it helps me break down the things that I know so I can know them better and now I can do them better. And then when I go and I wrestle them, it's easy to wrestle them because I'm a grown adult and I'm a great wrestler. Um, but now I get the chance to practice everything. Like I have to do the things that I'm showing you. I got to show you that these things work, so I'm going to do them to you. Um, and which confines you a little bit, which makes you an even better wrestler. And we've got kids who are phenomenal. Like Junior, he's James Linder. He took fourth at New England's last year. Luke, Jordan, these guys are. We got some good wrestlers. We don't have a big team, but we've got good aggressive wrestlers, and they because they are so good and we're young. We're me and my the head coach Jake. He's 27, 28. I forget exactly how old he is, but I'm 25 and we're young. Most coaches are pretty old, or just older, not pretty old. Uh, the and now we have to force ourselves to learn even more so that we can get them ready for situations for all situations.
So your background was in wrestling growing up, like that's what kind of got you on this mixed martial arts journey.
Yeah, I started wrestling when I was 8.
Oh
I
wow.
wasn't any good until I got into high school. But I was a dog. I liked working hard. I hated losing. Um, Wish I would have done off season a little earlier. I would have been really good. Yeah, and after high school, I wanted to go wrestle in college, but I made some dumb choices trying to stay around somebody, like trying to stay near my girlfriend, who ended up me like 3 months into college, first year of college. And I didn't want to wrestle D3 because I had an ego, even though I didn't win jack shit. But yeah, so I ended up going to a community college, and I was gonna have to wait 2 years to jump into a to any other program. So I was just like, all right, I got to go find something else to do, and I just went back. I used to train at the Roughhouse when I was younger, for just a summer. So I went back there, and I was like, yep, this is better than wrestling.
Oh, that's what's up. Yo, dude, so how your knees feeling, dude? Because I know people don't really know that story, but you were saying I heard in an interview you fought like 5 fights with a torn meniscus, and then I guess the only thing that was stopping you was the tearing the second one, huh?
Yeah. Um, so I fought. Um, I think Hobson. No, so the night that I accepted the Lally fight, I tore my meniscus doing a butterfly sweep, um, and it hurt, but it didn't. I couldn't not train. Like I was able to train on it, so I was like, fuck it, just keep going. Um, and I never got it looked at. Uh, the so Lally, Navis, Boleto, Sumter, and the Contender Series fights, I had a tear in my left knee. Um, and then the September or November, I forget when, November, I think, before I fought, I had my fight scheduled for February of last year, against Gorimbo, however you pronounce his name, Themba.
Dumba.
Yeah, and I went to a goddamn Naga and arm dragged this dude who doesn't know how to wrestle, and he just went flying. And I left my knee behind to try to trip him, and he just kneed me in the side of the knee, and boom, had 2 tears in my right knee. Hurt to stand up. I won the tournament though, and I won the
Oh,
absolute division too.
Let's go.
so that was
Took
with
two.
two torn. Yeah, let's go. That's
Well,
what's
so
up.
actually, so I had 3 tears. I just had two
Oh,
knees. I had my my left knee had one, and my right knee had 2 tears. So
And
damn.
that was the year layoff from Contender to your last fight in the UFC.
yeah,
Damn.
and then
Yeah.
after this last fight, I would have fought sooner, but I got in a car accident, so that kind of fucked me up.
Oh shit.
Damn.
I heard from
How you
that.
feeling from that?
I'm good. Yeah, I CT scan said I had no brain trauma. My back was sore for a while, but I was able to get back to training once I had cuts on my arms. They healed
Oh
up.
shit.
Gave it some time. I was sore for a while, but other than that, I was good. No brain trauma, even though I
You
got
hit your
knocked out.
head, bro?
No, so what happened was, I was going 65, somewhere around there, because I was on the highway. Um, and I went over this bridge, and every time I go over this bridge, I always look at this breakdown lane over there. It's just a habit that I have. And I had gone over the bridge earlier, and there was nothing there earlier. But a couple hours later, so I just bought my mom a brand new car 2 hours before this happened. So I had it off the lot for 2 hours. And I go over this bridge and I'm looking over there. And instead of like looking back to the road and then down at whatever the fuck I was looking at, which I think it was like all the brand new buttons. It was a 2019 Toyota Camry. It was nice. So I looked straight down at all the doodads and whatnot, and then looked up. I don't remember looking up that much, but I remember catching a glimpse of it was a state trooper parked like halfway in the lane because the lane was closed. I should have been paying attention. But he was halfway in, and I caught it at the last second, and I don't remember anything after that. But they said I braked and I hit him halfway because I was in the lane. He was halfway in the lane. I hit that front half, spun out, hit two more cars, and then hit the guardrail on the other side of the street road. And I didn't get knocked out. I just don't remember because I guess the cop said I took myself out of the vehicle and went and laid down on the side of the road. And then the first thing I remember after the last flash is I came to with EMTs standing above me.
Wow.
Holy shit, bro. That is fucking crazy. Yo, thank God everything's okay now. But that is nuts, bro.
Yeah. I went to work the next day.
Trooper.
Yeah, absolutely.
Holy
Yeah, I
shit.
know. Funny thing is like at that time in my life, I wasn't really wearing my seatbelt that much. But I was that day. I don't know why.
At that time in my
I
life,
was.
like
Yeah,
3 months ago.
yeah. Wear your seatbelt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
glad that you can separate that part of your life from like 3 months, you know, you're leaving that part back there. You're like,
changed
that
man.
was an old me, bro. I don't know who that guy
Yep.
is.
And I still have a bad habit of being on my phone sometimes when I drive though, which is awful. But I'm trying to get better.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
That's
a
what's up. But
I have a question
yeah.
though. So hold on. You guys call yourself geeks. Why?
bro, we're the
Guillotine Geeks.
There's all types of geeks though, you guys. So I see a lot of sports memorabilia. Do you consider yourself a sports geek? Are you guys like video game geeks? Or are you guys just computer geeks? Or are you guys like D&D geeks? Because I play video games and D&D. I'm not a computer or sports geek, so I'm just curious as to what kind of geek you guys are.
I literally
I
had
would
that talk
say
to him. I was like, we got to ask him what kind of games he plays because I know you're into all that kind of stuff too. But
Mhm.
I would say we're just like geeks in the sense of like we just watch like straight combat, like everything that's combat, like we just have it covered. Like we have a kid that
You're like,
trains jujitsu, like me and Goosey box. So like even
nice.
like we're missing the Teofimo right now. I had it on a second ago, but
Oh, is he
like
fighting tonight?
yeah,
Who's he fighting?
ESPN Plus. Ortiz. I'm forgetting his first name, but should be a good scrap. Teofimo was a pretty big favorite.
but yeah,
Okay. I
and
like
then
Loper. I like him. I hate that he beat um um what's his name?
Lomachenko.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
Lomachenko. He's my favorite.
he's
he's a
sick,
man.
bro. He's sick. But yeah,
Yeah.
and then in terms of like why it's geek, it's like we're just a couple, rowdy fellas, bro. Like we don't have like the most like absurd analytical takes, bro. We're genuine fans. Like we're just here to kind of like spread some positivity. You know what I'm saying?
You're fight geeks. That's cool. I
Yeah.
Yeah.
get that.
I hate
Yeah, we knew about you when you burst on the scene. We knew that we were in for some scraps when you showed up on Contender Series and then obviously in Singapore. And we got
Oh
6 minutes of madness and two Billy Goff KOs from it. So
yeah.
I you definitely building a name for yourself, you know. You
Yeah,
excited
yeah.
to keep that going forward?
Yeah, I and it's funny because like I don't ever really I think about it every once in a while and it's like, oh, that's cool, but I don't like it never adds stress to me. I'm never worried about having a streak. Um I do care about a finish because I want to finish a fight. Like I'm gonna knock you out. I'm gonna do as much damage as possible to you. Um and so I think it's not that I'm super set and determined to make this just continue getting this. I think the way that I just naturally fight, just super aggressive, is just going to naturally produce finish after finish after finish. And hopefully they're all in the first round.
yeah.
Let's go.
50K, 50K, 50K. Would be
Yes.
fire. Yo, so what are you playing? You said D&D. So you have like a group of because that's like a very particular, that's a niche thing. So you must have like a group of people that are like very special to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so one, two, three of them train with me. Um,
Really?
Other ones have trained in the past, they just don't currently. Um, the which you'd be surprised. Like most, like you don't like people, and they've said it to me before. Like, I don't look like a person who plays D&D, which is fair. I'm not necessarily a stereotypical D&D person, but anybody can play. Like I've got my little dice tower right here.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
fire.
These are dice as well. It's like jawbone dice, and they just come off and they roll like that.
Oh
Um,
shit.
yeah, and got a big old thing like this. Um, these things are sick. I've got a whole like little setup right here for D&D. Actually, we're getting ready to have another session this Sunday, so I've got to get all of this junk ready. I don't know how to flip my camera around. There it is. So I'm working on this stuff. I was working on it before you guys called.
Oh, dude, you're the commentator or the host?
The DM, not always. Multiple, all of us take turns DMing, but we've mostly been playing mine just because it's so hard to schedule things. Like it's just your schedule's off, so it's very hard. But if we can all get together, then we usually play.
So are you writing these completely on your own, or are you like referencing other stories and that kind of thing? Because my buddy started playing, and there has to be somebody has to be like super knowledgeable about it, obviously, and then like everyone can kind of start to learn. But like it seems like there's just like kind of like you can do whatever you want. So it's like the commentator, the DM has such a tough role because you gotta like on the fly, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm good at. I'm not so I've got my buddy Kyle. He's like D&D rule and what's the word for it? Kind of um shit, I can't think of the word. Like he can if I have an item that I have an idea of and I want it to be made and I want it to work for the game, and I can't think of the fucking word for it. Excuse my language, but he knows, like he's great on the rules and how things work and how to make it fit into the world of D&D and to where it doesn't break the game and it's not too much. Um, and he knows a lot about the games. He has a lot of the information. Um, and so I look to him a lot for like I don't know how to answer that question. You answer it. So it's not even though I'm the DM. We're very much all making the experience together. But I love that's the only reason I enjoy DMing is because I love making the story. Like they're in a world that I've made up myself. The whole story, a lot of it's made up by myself, and how things are going is I made it up, and I love doing it on the fly. Um, but there's also I do steal a lot. Like I steal from anime. I steal from like there's Norse mythology in it. So there's a lot of things that are stolen, but just twisted.
That's
Damn,
dope.
damn.
That's
So
dope.
your
When
people.
you say Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, you guys just D&D's taking priority, or you guys getting it in before?
Nah, D&D's taking priority. I don't care about
Oh,
us.
let's
Oh no
go.
way. That's
Yeah.
so fire. Let's go, bro. That's gonna fire me
Not
up.
a,
I'm gonna be watching the Super Bowl and just thinking like my boy Billy Goff is absolutely chopping it up with his fellas right
yeah. I might ask you guys to make a couple of saving throws for me.
now. Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
But
we got
yeah,
you.
Bro, we'll
uh,
we'll, we'll DM in.
yeah. Uh, I actually don't really. I'm not a huge fan of watching sports. I'm not. I love playing sports. Like I love playing foot. I used to play football, but I don't enjoy watching it that much. It's just
Yeah,
It's
fair.
honestly not like a rare thing. Like a lot of fighters don't even like watching fighting. We found out.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
in the most like entertaining action-packed sport, so I could see how the other sports wouldn't add up to that for you.
well, playing them is fun. Playing them is great. I love football is awesome. Baseball's fun. Playing in the outfield's not so fun. Uh,
Watching baseball is not as fun.
no, it's not. The only time watching baseball is fun is when you're at the stadium and you're at the game.
Yeah.
That's different.
Get the good vibes.
You're in the moment and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But yeah, dude, we've got it's gonna kick us out of here in 1 minute. So before we have an abrupt ending, it was an absolute pleasure, bro. We gotta have you back on. And bro, we'll zoom into a freaking D&D game, man. Don't try us, dog. We're
We could
absolutely
we could We can do one over Zoom. We can do, and you don't need
You can
do
DM.
one shot. Yeah, I'll DM one. You can do one
Holy
shot.
shit,
You
that
guys
we're
listen.
doing that. We're doing that.
Okay.
We'll get all the geeks because there's not just 2 of us. There's 3 more. We're gonna get all of us in here. You're gonna DM us
Perfect.
through one of those treks.
Yeah, I got you. It's 5 people is perfect. So
Hell yeah. Well, any final words? You got like 10 seconds, I would think now.
nah, thanks for the time. Had fun. You guys have been cool. So keep killing
Yes,
it.
sir. Thank
Hell yeah,
you.
Billy.
Excited to
Appreciate it.
see you get back to it and talk again.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
sir.
This
Assalamu
thing's
alaikum.
gonna